Hello, Gaddis gamers. So let's talk about timelines when it comes to Weird War gaming. Uh, Most of us do Weird War 1939 to 1940-ish, late 40s, as Weird World War II gamers. But I know there's a lot of people like that are taking that same idea and applying it to other gaming genre like Napoleonics, and you get Silver Bayonet. Um, And so a conversation has started around what is the appropriate timeline to go into to World War II. But I want to expand that out and say that you could actually do Weird War in any timeline by applying the appropriate tropes. Vampires, werewolves, super science. So if you want to go back, Uh, diesel punk to me would be World War One, World War Two, where you have mostly mechanized engines. You had your vampires, your werewolves, other occult items into that. Then you can go back to any of the 17th and 18th century uh, wars and just apply that to it. You know, you had Leonardo da Vinci coming up with tanks and helicopters and that kind of stuff. And I think there's a whole miniatures line based on that. I know there was a video game based on it, but let's think about how to apply that weird war aspect to other gamings. For us, it started with World War One with Shattered Crown, where we had Tesla weapons and things. Once you research World War One, once you get to the history of World War One, a lot of things that we have in our modern warfare started there, right? Airplanes, tanks, um, how we can what we consider a modern war operation, and we just added death rays and Tesla and the Martian invasion and of H.G. Wells in 1880, and just moved forward on that premise, and it gave us a really rich world in which to build on. But as the world got older, that technology would get deeper, and you would end up with well, how advanced would it become? If we had a 500-year head start on somebody, how far would that technology progress? Because I look at the airplane at the beginning of the 20th century, and then 60 years later we were on the moon. So if we took that same curve and applied it to captured alien technology like we did in Shattered Crown, what would that look like 60 years later, when you're in the 1950s and 60s, retro future science? So you would have that applied through World War One. You would have the interwar period between World War One and World War Two, where you have a lot of adventuring, and the Spanish Civil War is another area that I would love to game in, where people are using Spain to test out their new super weapons. And then, of course, some countries feel that they're ready to go at it, and then World War II breaks out, and then you have the traditional World War Two jump from World War One to World War Two. You'd have that jump, and then what would that technology be? Super tanks, of course, vampires, of course, uh, over the top sci-fi, occultists, mechanized machines that are um, era appropriate. Um, And then where would you go after that? Would you stop your weird World War II in 1947, 48, 49, or would you continue it on further? And what genre would we call the 1950s, 60s era, Cold War era gone hot? Because I am doing a supplement to Empire's Fall, which is the World War II Weird War game that we created. Um, the Liberators, which will be out in June. And then we have Red Star, White Star, which will be a supplement that I'll put up for free on the Guards Facebook group and on our blog at gaddisgaming.com. But where Patton decided, you know what, we're just going to since we're going to have to fight the commies anywhere, we got our armies here now, let's just roll on over and uh, and see what happens. So more Weird War you could have in the 1950s after your Weird War II and the Nazis are defeated. Um, you would have a Weird War, Red Star, White Star, which would be the equivalent of Weird War Korea. And then the Battle of Shandong, which is Weird War Vietnam, which adds the occult and the Cthulhu mythos into that. And then after that, you're in, modern day straight, sci-fi. You know, I mean, could you Weird War something in a Team Yankee era without just being straight up sci-fi at that point? So anyway, just my thoughts. Let me know what you think. As a designer, I'm always um, trying to approach things from a unique way and give my players the most fun in the games we create, and also when we're out at the conventions. And I know that people will be wanting to demo and play those games and get those miniatures. So, let me know your thoughts on that. From, 15, 1600 Weird War, 1700 Weird War, 1800 Weird War. Um, could you do Weird Civil War? Could you do Weird Revolutionary War? What would that look like? All right. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Like, subscribe, do all the things, but most of all, happy gaming.